and welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. I, of course, am Adrienne Ross, and you are you. And we are going to have a conversation about Marina Mabrey. Yeah, Marina Mabrey got some not so fun news. You may recall that she had requested a trade from the Chicago Sky. Can anyone blame her? And she went to Connecticut Sun, where she did some serious work in the offseason. You can just ask the Fever about that. Well, after that, everybody just kind of jumped ship, as they say. All starters from the playoffs out of there? Yeah, out of there. We know everybody went one way or the other, just up and gone. And they left Marina Mabrey all by her lonesome in Connecticut. Even Stephanie White got up out of there. And of course, is the head coach of the Indiana Fever. So Marina Mabrey said, excuse me, can I get out of here too? And what did the Connecticut Sun say? Absolutely not. So Marina Mabrey's agent did what I guess agents do and had a little something to say to plead her case. So let's take a look. Now we'll go over to Instagram and look at it over there on ESPNW to get a little graphic of what her agent had to say about that denial. So here that graphic is. It says, why would anyone try to force someone to play on their team when they don't want to be there? It's counterproductive in a ton of ways, and everyone we have spoken to is perplexed about how they are handling Marina after trading away Hall of Fame caliber players. The coach parted ways. No free agents returned, and they are doing all they can to try and force Marina to stay when she clearly doesn't want to be there. This is Marina Mabrey's agent, Marcus Crenshaw, on Connecticut's handling of Mabrey's trade request. That's some serious interference right there. They want you to know. When I say they, I mean the agent and Marina Mabrey. She does not want to be there. Why are you trying to force me? Why are you trying to force me to play on this WNBA team? Well, Marina Mabrey, I think you're getting a lesson that many of us learned much younger. And let me just see exactly how old Marina Mabrey is. Marina Mabrey is 28 years old. And by now, most of us would have learned that you don't just get to pick and choose. Even when you don't want to be there, sometimes when you have a job, you have to be there even while you don't want to be there. How many of us have had a job where we're like, oh, this isn't turning out the way that I expected, but you just kind of hang in there for a while until, you put some time in. Maybe you try to see if things get better. I don't know, but you don't just get to go because you feel like going. You were just traded there. And like I said, I don't blame Marina for wanting to get up out of Chicago. That mess that was going on with Teresa Weatherspoon and the double streak with Angel Reese and Kennedy Carter in the locker room and stuff crashing around and all this Diamond DeShields trying to barrel over. I mean, I can't blame her. Having said that, though, there is something to be said. Even when your friends leave, even when you don't want to rebuild, there's something to be said for sticking it out, for having talent and saying, okay, I'm going to be a huge piece to these things turning around. You don't just get to get up and go. And maybe this is a life lesson that she needs. It just happens. Sometimes, even in regular relationships, man, I'm not feeling this right now. But you know what? I made a commitment. So I'm going to stick it out and I'm going to do the best that I can. And I'm not going to be hopping from place to place to place all the time. And at this point, unless the organization, meaning the Connecticut Sun, should change its mind, she's going to have to learn. So her agent says, why would you force someone to be there? They don't want to be there. Well, we're going to find out how professional Marina Mabrey is. Can you produce even when you don't feel like it? Can you stand firm in your commitment even when you don't feel like it? Can you be the professional that most of us have had to be? So let's see what the organization, in particular the president, Jen Rizzotti, I didn't realize she was the president of the Sun, but let's see what Rizzotti said about this whole situation, because, okay, she's letting you know she doesn't want to be there. Does that mean she won't produce? Let's see what Jen says. Let's look around this article at ESPN.com. Sun denies Marina Mabrey trade request, prompting agent to fire back. Okay, again, the request was denied. She put the request in earlier this month, so in February, right? We know she arrived in Connecticut after requesting a trade from the Sky before the All-Star break. She averaged 14.4 points, 4.1 assists in 2024, mostly operating as first player off the bench for the Sun. But of course, due to injury, she got more playing time and really showed out in the playoffs. So Marcus Crenshaw fired back, and I already told you what he said. He said it was counterproductive to have her stay there. She doesn't want to be there, etc. He went on to say Stephanie White left, and these Hall of Fame caliber players are gone, so she should be gone too. Well, Sun president Jen Rizzotti told ESPN that the organization decided it, quote, wasn't in our best interest to move her because of the value we gave up to get her, but also that we place on her. Okay. And it goes on to explain all that. I don't want to get into all that. But here I want to go on to what Rizzotti said. She said the reasons that we have for not trading Marina are rooted in positivity. Okay, it's not negative, it's positive, she says. She says it's rooted in a desire to build around her, have her here, have her be the catalyst for what we want to do offensively, taking advantage of her versatility, knowing that the style that the new coach will plays will suit her game, and knowing that we can put her in an individual situation to be really successful as this current CBA closes and a new one opens. So she's saying, listen, don't look at this as a negative way. This is showing that we believe in her, that this is going to be a situation that works to her betterment, that works to her good. And so, yeah, we're going to build around her. That's sort of like when you hear the front office of the Fever. They all let us know the big three, we're building around the big three. Wow. What an honor. So they're saying, listen, we're going to build around you, Marina. This is going to be great for you. And we gave up too much for you, and we find too much value in you. Rizzotti also said this. I think there's probably a lot of professional athletes that are on teams that they don't necessarily prefer to be on. Okay, in other words, it's life. Grow up. She goes on to say, I don't think that this would be an isolated situation. I think Marina is as competitive as they come. It's one of the reasons that we wanted her here. It might also be seen as counterproductive for us to give in to every single trade request, right? So they were saying, the agent was saying it was counterproductive for her to be with the Sun if she didn't want to be there. And Rizzotti was like, well, it's counterproductive for us to give in every time somebody wants to be traded. She goes on to say, so I think sometimes you get put in a no-win situation. And I think we're trying to be as fair as we can to a lot of different constituents. Well, Mabrey's agent may have put it out there fired back, as they say, but so did Rizzotti. Look, you don't always get what you want. Lots of people are in places they don't want to be. It's a part of maturity. And I believe that she's a professional, she's saying. And so she's going to play hard. I hope that the agent wasn't throwing that out there to say, you know what, she's going to stink up the court on purpose because she doesn't want to be here. That would be really bad. And of course, unprofessional and childish. So in life, Marina, we sometimes find ourselves in these situations. We don't like them. We would wish things would be different. It was the curveball. We didn't expect to be in this spot, but here we are. So now we get to find out, what are you going to do with it? Every one of us learns this in life, and you can't just pack up and move out every time. At least that's how I see it. I think it's, the grass is always greener on the other side, and then you get over there and it's, I don't know, it's not so green. But again, I don't blame her for not wanting to leave Chicago. Be that as it may, she left, and now she's got to stay where she is, unless the team decides, you know what, we're just going to let her go. But I think this is a great opportunity for growth for Marina Mabrey. Those are my thoughts. But I tend to kind of think that being an adult matters. And sometimes it's not easy. But what do you think? Chop it up with one another. I'll catch you next time, God willing. Subscribe to the channel, please, if you haven't done so. God bless you abundantly.